Hey everybody, my name is David. Welcome to my channel, My Yard Sale. First off, I'd like to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. If you celebrate Valentine's Day or have Valentine, happy Valentine's Day to you. Secondly, I want to remember my Valentine, Millie. As a kid, I moved very frequently, every year actually, through many school years. And Valentine's Day was always not a positive thing for me as a kid. It was very stressful. Trying to get through the whole Valentine cycle with brand new friends, brand new school, brand new house, brand new location. It was very stressful as a kid. But at one point throughout my life, I had finally found my way to living in Connecticut with my family. I lived in Guilford, Connecticut, if you know the area. Nice area, nice local area. And I actually lived there for a couple of years. Now, I don't know what exactly inspired my mother to do this, but she decided at one point that we should go to the local nursing home and just go visit those folks. And I was into it. I mean, I thought it would be nice to make people's days happy, and it just made sense. So for probably the period of maybe even a couple of years, we went to this nursing home locally in Guilford. If you live in the Northeast and you live in Guilford, you probably know the nursing home I'm talking about, because Guilford is not a huge area. There's like a small town green. There's a small area. There's some housing areas, some residential areas, some neighborhoods, and then there's some small business areas. So we started going to this nursing home maybe once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, and it was actually quite enjoyable because those people would spend their whole week just waiting for this day to show up, where me and my two brothers would show up and just make their day a little bit nicer. Like, I don't know if that area, there's not like, I don't know what the deal is with that area, but there was a lot of people in that nursing home. They had no visitors. Like, they didn't see anybody. They had no local um, family, or maybe their family just didn't come see them. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. But there was a couple that I used to love hanging out with and seeing. A couple, they were German folks. His name was Wolfgang and her name was Anna, and they loved to hang out and just chit chat and talk. But my favorite person was Mildred. Millie was, I don't know, 600 years old. She was so old. She had had Parkinson's for many years, so communicating was very difficult for her. Um, but she could talk a little bit in the beginning, and then of the beginning of the day, she could talk a little bit, and as she got worn out, she couldn't talk at all. And actually, the first year or so that I met her, she could talk a little bit better, and then as the years went on, she just gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where she couldn't talk at all. But Millie was, even though there was Wolfgang and Anna, and I enjoyed meeting with them and bringing some joy and cheer to their day, Millie was kind of my favorite, and she had a little bit of history, which I thought was kind of cool. Now she was able to talk to the nurses. I don't even know what you call them. The nurses, the caretakers. I don't know exactly what they're called, but she was able to talk to them when she first got there, and she had history where she had told them at some point that she dated Rudolph Valentino when she was a young girl, which I thought that was cool. Not that she had that kind of history, but just that she was proud enough to talk about it. And she had shared stories of that time with those girls that were taking care of her. Anyways, I just kind of thought Millie was sort of cool. Like I said, by the time I actually got to meet Millie, she really couldn't talk. She could express herself a little bit, but talking was not exactly in the realm of possibility for her. I think she had Parkinson's disease. I don't know if it was Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or exactly what it was that she had, but she couldn't talk at all. So I used to go and specifically see Millie pretty frequently, every week. And it's funny how the older people in nursing homes get, when they get the feeling that you're their favorite or they're your favorite, they get very protective of that. So when my family would show up to that nursing home, Millie would demand a ride to the front in her wheelchair and her her cart, and she would start her visit. And if anybody else got in the way of that visit, she could get pretty, like, not foul or mean, but she could make it pretty difficult for those other older people. So at some point, I started developing a little bit of a relationship with Millie, like where she was my favorite, she was my friend, and she loved it when I showed up. Now the whole nursing home loved it when we showed up. I I was an uncool kid, and of all the instruments that I could have picked to play in band when I was a kid, I picked the baritone, which like I said, it's pretty uncool, but there's a lot of activity and action when a kid brings a baritone to a nursing home. It's loud. It's not exactly melodic. The Germans loved it because they had a lot of tuba and baritone in their music. The I don't know exactly what that oompa music, um, but they loved that. They loved the baritone, and Millie loved the fact that I was her favorite. She was my favorite, and that I was the kid that brought my musical instrument every week or couple of weeks, and I made everybody happy. Everybody was all smiles and rocking their head back and forth while I was playing my baritone. But Millie loved it. So Valentine's Day with Millie. So at one point, I had gotten a little stuffed Ziggy. I don't know if you remember what Ziggy was, but Ziggy was a little cartoony kind of guy, and I had gotten Millie a stuffed Ziggy, and she loved that thing. Anytime the nurses or the caretakers would take it away to wash it or to do whatever with it, she would make such a huge fuss that like she became very difficult for them. So they made sure that they would wash it when she was sleeping or take care of it when she was sleeping, and that it was there when she woke up. And it meant so much to her that she would have it every time I would show up. She would have it right next to her, and it was a big part of her life. It brought a lot of joy and cheer to her, and that's what I like think about Valentine's Day. That's what I remember Valentine's Day is my Valentine Millie with her little stuffed Ziggy Valentine's Day present, and how much it meant to her. And actually, it made me pretty sad that when she finally passed many years later, those those ladies kept and mailed that Ziggy to my family. And I hung on to that thing for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years maybe, until I just couldn't bear to look at it anymore. And I finally got rid of it. But that was my story from probably the one and only true Valentine that I ever had, that actually meant something with as a Valentine, more so than just buying chocolates or taking people to dinner. I mean, Millie couldn't eat chocolate. She couldn't go to dinner. Just my time was plenty of a Valentine for her. And that's kind of what I think of on Valentine's Day. Today I was thinking about Millie. Millie, my Valentine that is long gone. Rest in peace, Millie. Hopefully she's up wherever they go or wherever they are. Hopefully she's hanging out with my Nana and Pop-Up, and they're sharing stories about me playing baritone and being silly. Anyways, that's my Valentine story. from about my Valentine, Millie. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye bye.